1993 has been a notable year in world rallying. For the first time, a Japanese manufacturer won the World Championships. And Britain's Colin McRae won his first World Championship event. But it was Toyota's year, the manufacturer's title and a fourth driver's crown for Juha Kankkunen, who celebrated his win in Australia. Surprisingly, the Toyota domination of the world rally scene this year hasn't been masterminded in Tokyo and controlled by the Japanese, but by one man from Sweden here in Cologne in Germany. For Uwe Andersson, it's the culmination of a lifetime's work. It had always been his dream to win the World Championship. In the 70s, he moved from being one of the best rally drivers in the world to start developing his own company based on a minor rally team which Toyota had set up in Belgium.
What I asked for was to get the parts which they had developed. They had 4-valve engines, they had, basically everything that was needed. And there was a workshop, there was all the service cars and everything was in Europe already. So we could take that over and got the parts they had in Japan, and then we went off on our own.
At first, Andersson specialised in the rough, tough African rallies, driving in many of them himself. Toyota soon became the team to beat in Africa, with 3 wins in the Ivory Coast Rally and 3 in the famous Safari, all in the early 80s. Here in this huge 15,000 square foot building, there are no less than 100 different rooms and workshops, each with their own particular function. This one is purely concerned with engine building, and the 20 staff employed here are kept pretty busy because they build 120 engines every year. And when they're not busy building engines, they're busy testing them on not 1, but 2 high-tech test beds. All components are tested to the limit, including this glowing turbo. Everything in this clinically clean establishment is analysed, measured and weighed incessantly, and in their search for perfection, it's often back to the drawing board. And if that doesn't work, there's always a computer at hand to further fine-tune the bits and pieces that make up a £250,000 rally car. It's a phenomenal operation, and despite all the computers and other paraphernalia, there's also a pretty big staff.
Well, altogether we've got something over 200 people, and we're a multinational company. I think we're 17 or 18 different nationalities. We've got New Zealanders, Swedes, Poles, Czechs, French. We've got everything, but thankfully for me, they all speak English. That's the team language.
How many of the team will go over to the RAC rally?
Altogether, we've got about 70 people working on the RAC in various capacities, spread between the service vans, the tyre trucks, the various specialist engineers, motorhomes, the driver's transport. There's quite a wide range of vehicles.
And if you need anything extra to get the show on the road, you just go to the heavily laden shelves and get it. There are hundreds of bits of everything, and it's springtime all the year. This rack contains front and rear suspension units. Now, each one of these costs £6,000. So on this little shelf alone, you've got the price of the average British house. This year, the story's come full circle. After 20 years of running his own company, Uwe Andersson has sold it back to Toyota Japan. What was the reason?
I think this scale of business cannot be controlled, especially from the financial viewpoint. Very difficult to control. So therefore, it's nice to be taken over by Toyota to secure the people working here. Then we can go together for the more constant basis of the operation. That is our intention.
If you're still in any doubt about how big this £20 million outfit is, well, they're big enough to charter a jumbo jet and take the entire team off anywhere in the world. Now, if that jumbo was to turn east out of Cologne instead of going to more exotic climes, it would, in 1 hour 30 minutes, land at Prague, the beautiful capital of the Czech Republic. And just 40 miles north of Prague, dominating the town of Mladá Boleslav, is the gigantic Skoda factory. In Britain, we're all familiar with the good old Skoda jokes, But you don't think that I'm brave enough or daft enough to stand here in the Skoda factory and tell them, do you? But there's one area of Skoda's operation where there's absolutely no joke, and that's in the field of motorsport. It all began in 1906 when they started competing in rallies, road races and reliability trials. But you won't find the name Skoda on any of the entry lists of the time, because up until the mid-20s, the cars carried the name of Larin and Clement. In fact, it was another decade before the name Skoda really hit the world headlines. Skoda's greatest rally success came in the famous Monte Carlo rally. This rapide sports car won it outright in 1936. It's got an electronic gearbox, independent suspension, but the steering is extremely heavy. And you may wonder why I'm sitting on the right. Well, they used to drive on the right in Czechoslovakia until the Second World War. But it was in the 70s and 80s that the international rallying community, including myself, sat up and began to take notice as cars like these 130s started to pile up awards and championships for the Skoda factory. They've won more trophies than Toyota would even dream of. In fact, at the last count, it was well in excess of 5,000, most of them class wins. One driver, John Haugland, won his class 100 times on the trot. The team is based in a little corner of the factory where a job in the competition department is regarded as the ultimate career achievement. They realise that with their 1300cc engines, overall wins are out of the question for the favourite. But the whole operation is highly professional on a budget of just £800,000 a year.
Our competition department is 3 workshops, and altogether we have 2,000 square meters. We have 31 people which are employed here. We have 8 profit drivers, and of course we have so much to do because we take a participation in 28 events during the year. Of course, we take a part in the World Championship. We have 2 crews for the World Championship rallying. We have 1 team for European Championship, and we have 2 teams for local championships. So much to do.
Skoda are proud of their amazing record of reliability in rallies, and everywhere you look there's proof of their performance, not least in our own RAC rally.
In the last 20 years we've won 19 class titles, and I hope we can add 1 in this year.
One of the reasons that Skoda have done so well in rallying over the years may be because of these. These are F-plates, and if you fit them to a rally car, you can go testing on the public roads at any speed you want. Would you believe it? And while we were there, they actually closed a village, so they could do a bit of final suspension tweaking before the RAC rally next week. Well, I reckon there's only one way to find out how these Skoda rally cars go, and that's to sit alongside the #1 works driver, Pavel Sibera. Pavel started life in the engine shop at Skoda and has now graduated to become a big star in his homeland. I was interested to see Pavel on the gravel. Oh, and by the way, this might not look like it, but this is another public road that Skoda have commandeered for the occasion. The favourite's handling was remarkable. Pavel's driving brilliant. If only he had a 4-wheel drive supercar in which to demonstrate his abilities. But for now, Pavel and his team had only one object in mind: trundle off to Britain to win more trophies for the amazing Skoda team.